Hello, everyone. Welcome to my free online sleep clinic. I'm very, very excited to have Robin here. And I was really fascinated when I had a one-to-one with Robin, and Robin told me about grief, loss, wellness, and a death cafe with Jane. So one of the things I'm really interested in is how we cope with sleep after grief and loss so that it doesn't overwhelm us and we can survive. So I'm hoping Robin can talk to us about sleep and wellness. Thank you very much. Over to you, Robin.
Thank you very much, Yewande. It's great to be here. And yeah, I'm passionate about sleep because it's such an important aspect to our well-being. If we don't have good quality sleep, it's not just sleep, but I think having good quality sleep is so important because when we don't get good quality sleep, we don't get the benefits of things like REM. People maybe have heard of REM sleep, rapid eye movement, when we have dreams. And we don't fully understand why we dream, but it is very important. We know that it's very important to be able to have that depth of sleep where we can dream, because it helps us. It seems to be something that supports our memory. So maybe it's our way of processing things. I often think from my own experience that my dreams help me to process. So if in the past I used to have a series of nightmares, one was being chased, another one was seeing tornadoes. And I realized then that I was seeing those when I felt stressed. And it was a kind of a representation, a metaphorical representation. We're very metaphorical beings. So being able to sleep and have that deep REM sleep allows our brains to show us the metaphors of our life and to help us process that. And when we can process it, then that's some of the steps towards releasing the emotional intensity of, so that we can make sense of it and it fits in, we assimilate it into our lives. And that's very much something around grief. I think grief, generally people find that it does disturb their sleep. They don't sleep as well. They maybe can fall asleep because they're exhausted, but they wake up and they can't get back to sleep. And that may be partly because they're used to having somebody sleeping next to them if it was their partner who has died, or it might just be that their brain is just running around in circles with all of the stuff that comes with grief that we need to process. But when we can support ourselves to sleep well, to do some of it when we're kind of offline and we're asleep, so yeah, getting really good quality sleep, it supports that. But sleep, it enhances our memory because it enables us to file things where they need to be filed and to make those right connections. It helps us to be more creative so that we can come up with solutions that we need, which might be, how do we support ourselves? How do we handle our grief? What do we do? It supports us around our food and our food intake and whether we put on weight or not. So if people are finding that they're putting on weight, look at your sleep. Are you sleeping well or are you not? And if you're not, are you stressed? Because cortisol levels will cause us to hold that spare tire around our middle, and that relates to being stressed, being anxious, and it comes back to sleep as well. If we're not getting enough sleep, there's more of that in our life. And because it supports our well-being, it helps to keep us healthy and helps us not to come down with various diseases. It helps to support our vitality that allows us to fight those off. But that's maybe more of my well-being business. But it also helps us to reduce blood pressure, and that obviously relates to heart attacks and strokes and so on. And when we sleep better, we feel better. We have more processing power, we have more creativity, we're more able to deal with whatever life throws at us, which includes if we're experiencing a bereavement. But how then do we support our sleep? And a lot of what I'm talking about today is from this amazing book. I highly recommend it, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And he talks all about dreams, and at the back, he tips. And he talks about keeping a sleep schedule. So if we can get into a routine and a pattern, and then our bodies kind of know that, right, after I've done this, So it might be having a hot bath, brushing your teeth, getting into your pajamas, and going to bed, maybe reading for a short time. When you have that routine established, your body then knows the next part of that is to go to sleep. Exercising is really good to help us to release any tensions, any stresses, anxieties. It's just really good not to exercise too late at night, because our bodies need to cool down before they go to sleep. And if we exercise too late, we're too hot, and that doesn't support good sleep. Also, we're just too active, and that doesn't support sleep. Exercising during the day, but allowing that time then to wind down, to cool down, and to get into that relaxed state, ready for sleep. One of the maybe obvious ones, avoiding nicotine and caffeine. They're stimulants, so obviously they're not going to support good, restful, deep sleep. Avoiding alcohol as well. And sometimes we think, oh, a nice little drink just before bed is really good to support sleep. But it can stop us having that important REM sleep, that dream sleep. So although we might sleep, we might not sleep deeply, we might not experience the benefits of REM, and also it can leave us then, if once the alcohol wears off, we might wake up in the early hours and not be able to get back to sleep. So although it sounds like, of course, have a drink, it helps you relax, go to bed, go to sleep, it's not always a good solution. Avoiding large meals and drinks. Drinks, because then it might mean that we need to get up in the middle of the night to go for a pee. Again, that might mean that we don't get back to sleep. But large meals, because they can sit very heavily on our stomach. Our digestion slows down as we're getting ready to go to bed and go to sleep. And we don't want that sitting heavy on our stomach. It's uncomfortable and our body's trying to digest it, so it's not heading for sleep. And avoid maybe, particularly for women of a certain age like me, avoiding spicy foods and foods maybe that can contribute to hot flushes, because that's something else that might cause you not to sleep very well. Avoiding medications that disrupt sleep. And that's something, if you're taking a medication that is disrupting your sleep, or you're finding it hard to get good quality sleep, talk to your practitioner, your GP, or whoever, who can maybe find a different medication that does this similar thing, but just doesn't interrupt sleep in the same way, or to see if you can take it earlier in the day so that the disruptive effects have worn off by bedtime. And they also say don't take naps after 3 p.m. because if you've slept during the day, then maybe you won't feel so ready to sleep at night. Personally, I sometimes find that a nap during the day or relaxation during the day helps me sleep. So again, all of these tips, they're very much up to the person as an individual to try them, see if they work for you, if they don't, because we are all so unique. Relaxing before bed is a good one as well, because it does calm your body, calm your mind, and allow you to get a good night's sleep. And another one, if you do find that maybe you're feeling anxious, you're maybe stressing possibly about work or things that you've got going on, keep a pen and paper by the bed. I find this one helped me, because then anything that came to me, I wouldn't have to think, I need to remember this for the morning, am I going to forget it? And that would make me anxious, and I would be lying there tossing and turning. But write it down, and then you can, I've done that, I'm not gonna forget it, it's not going anywhere, it's there, I can pick it up in the morning. Taking a hot bath can be a good one. Again, it's to do with the temperature. First of all, it relaxes our body, but also when you get out of the bath, your body cools. And as I was saying earlier, if we can be cooler, it supports better sleep. And in line with that, it's keeping the bedroom cool and dark, which can be difficult if you live in a city. And when I lived in Bristol, I used to use blackout curtains, blackout linings on the curtains, because I need it to be really dark or I don't sleep. And this can be a thing in the summer as well. When the sun comes up here in the UK at about 4 o'clock, it can be difficult to stay asleep if the light is coming into your bedroom. And keep the bedroom gadget free. So many of us have televisions in our bedrooms, or we bring an iPad or a smartphone to bed, and there's the electromagnetic stuff that goes on with our gadgets, but also they're there. demanding our attention 24/7. And you might go to bed and watch a program that keeps your mind buzzing, or you might be reading the news or reading something on your phone perhaps, or your tablet. None of that is good for a good night's restful, relaxing sleep. Having good natural daylight exposure is another great one. And since moving to the country and having a more outdoors life, I find that's been massive for me, because it just sets your circadian rhythms and supports the waking up at the right time, going to bed and going to sleep at the right time, and having that natural cycle. And lastly, they say, if you're waking up in the middle of the night or you're not able to get to sleep, don't lie there and stress and get anxious, because that basically is the opposite of what I was saying earlier. Train your body by having a nice routine towards bed and hopefully to sleep. Whereas if you're lying in bed, it's training your body that lying in bed is wakeful and stressful, and it's a place of anxiety. So instead they say, get up and do something restful, something that's going to help you to get back to feeling sleepy. So not getting up and doing something active, but something that's going to help you to wind down, rest in your body, rest in your mind, and prepare you then just to slip into sleep. And that was really all that I had to say, other than to maybe repeat what I was saying before we went live, that this is Sleeptember. So a great time to focus on sleep and all of its benefits. And yeah, hopefully get into a good routine. But if anybody does have any questions about why maybe they're not sleeping or how to support their sleep, then I'm very happy to have a chat.
Thank you very much, Robin. It was an interesting kind of list of things that we need to work on with our sleep. I'm hoping that that will help people who are going to watch this. Thanks very much.